Pikes Peak or bust. Haley and I follow the old Denver and Rio Grande Railroad to Colorado City, now known as Colorado Springs, and we explore one of the biggest tourist destinations in the area, Garden of the Gods. It's a beautiful day. Haley and I own a local brokerage here in the area, so if you're looking to buy, sell, or invest, give us a call. If you're like us, you want to take the road less traveled, well, that's the Highway 67. Take the Sedalia exit on Santa Fe, follow the South Platte River to Woodland Park area through the Jar Canyon. There's some scorched landscape as well from the Jar Canyon fire we did a video on. We bring the dogs, we take the back way through Manitou Springs and Woodland Park so we can get to Garden of the Gods. Haley's wanted to see this for quite some time, but before we get carried away, let's look at the historical context of Garden of the Gods. It's important to remember that before all those trails existed colonizing the area, the Native Americans had been here for over 10,000 years. Starting with the Clovis people, who were the precursor to the Puebloans, the Ute also founded this area and traveled here and considered it sacred. Many theories suggest that stuff made out of the sandstone of the Garden of the Gods is haunted. The ancient Puebloans lived right up the mountain by Manitou Springs in these ancient cliff dwellings, which you see here. We did another video on the Manitou cliff dwellings. You don't have to go all the way to Mesa Verde. But this area was sacred to many Native American tribes, including the Ute, who have lived here since time immemorial. This is right in the valley of Tava, or Sun Mountain, which they called Pikes Peak. And then Western expansion came and it changed everything. General Palmer was the owner of the Denver and Rio Grande River, and subsequently also the owner of most of Colorado City. So his brilliant idea was, what if we take a railroad from Denver, which was already booming, and we run it to Colorado Springs? And this is what put Colorado Springs on the map, and it was known then as Colorado City. We're going to drive through that at the beginning of our expedition here, so you can see the historic town of Colorado City. So at first, this was more of a resort town. Before that, you can see that there's the branch of Trappers Trail previously there, as well as the General Long Expedition, and before that, the General Pike Expedition. Now, Pike didn't actually climb Pikes Peak, he didn't even set foot on it, but the mountain was named after him because one of his people on the trip made one of the first maps of the area and put Pikes Peak on that map. This is one of my favorite old maps showing the real insurgence of people came when there was the gold rush, the Pikes Peak or bust, and for most people it was a bust, to be completely honest. But it did put this place on the map, so to speak, and it started to become more of a settlement and more of a colonization, as well as Manitou Springs. I love this. A lovely glen with red rocks running and tinkling burn, whispering cottonwoods, and all that is delicious, with Pikes Peak and his snow seemingly in the back garden, with 8,000 feet over our heads. Oh, it is a delicious place, said Charles Kingsley in 1874. So this area, just like it was for the Native Americans, becomes an area of tranquility, resurgence, and relaxation because of Manitou Springs' natural spring water, as well as the so-called Garden of the Gods, which was a sacred place for Native Americans as well. Some of the first explorers there were Germans, they were surveyors, and I think it's hilarious that Germans actually wanted to make this area into a beer garden, and then another place, a German said it was a place fit for God. How German to want to drink beer there. So that area was bought up by a family by the name of Perkins, who bought 480 acres around there. We take a stroll here through old Colorado City, so you can see the original settlement that was here, and can see there the original county office that was there. Quite a big building this one was. So this area gets settled. Palmer turns it into a resort town of sorts with Manitou Springs, only about a 3-minute drive from here. Both really cute little towns now, tons of restaurants, lots of local shops. If you're looking to not go to downtown Colorado Springs, but you want to experience that local vibe, this is a really good place to do it. Feels like a lot of small Colorado mountain towns, but really you're in the middle of Colorado Springs here, which we thought was pretty neat. Alright, Derek, enough small talk. Let's drive a few minutes away from the old Colorado City to Garden of the Gods, the sacred space. The Garden of the Gods. Look at her. She's so cute. Wow. Soak in some of these sights as we walk into Garden of the Gods. It truly is breathtaking. That's neat. Yeah, I would take up rock climbing.
That is the littlest ski ever to climb.
Yeah, they did it though. Look at these massive sandstone monoliths reaching to the heavens. You can see why it was named Garden of the Gods. You can see why this was a spiritual place for Native Americans. And all around, these hiking trails offer vistas of Pikes Peak, or Sun Mountain, as the Native Americans called it. It truly feels like you're in the Southwest, in the Four Corners here, with all the sandstone. Geologically, these were formed hundreds of thousands of years ago. There was once the ancestral Rockies in this area, and those started to erode and bring with it all of the sediment that formed the ancestral Rockies, including sand. So a bunch of sediment piled up, and then this area was covered by a vast sea. And as the Rocky Mountains formed years later, actually it's a relatively young mountain range, a lot of this sediment was washed away, and what was below it had been hardened by all of the pressure. So that's how some of these great monoliths were formed through time. Here's the famous plaque that was installed in the early 1900s. If you did that today, you'd be defacing these, but it's a pretty cool little touch, bringing you back to a point in time where these were just as sacred to the settlers. And I think it's impossible to walk through Garden of the Gods and not be drawn into the natural world. European settlers and Native Americans alike, all tribes had this in common, that this area was sacred. Look, now we're walking in the gardens behind us. Yeah. So busy. Now we live in Roxborough Park, which is right by Roxborough State Park, which has some of these same sandstone monoliths formed by the erosion of the ancestral Rockies. One thing that we thought here was there's a lot of people. I mean, a lot of people. You don't feel it as much on camera, but you certainly felt it while you were there. So if you're looking for a more peaceful spot to check out Red Rocks Formation, go to Roxborough State Park. Of course, the more famous adventurers with us are the dogs. You wanna say hi? She'll give kisses.
Oh, I love kisses.
Say hi.
Oh, they're so pretty.
Thank you. She's so white.
Yeah, she's really white.
How old are they?
She's turning 4 in a couple weeks, so then this one's 9 months.
No jumping.
Yeah, she's just a baby.
A great Native American prayer really draws attention to the beauty of all of the senses that transport you into the natural world, called The Garden is Rich. With all the colors and fragrances, basil, mint, and lavender, great mystery, keep my remembrance pure, raspberry, apple, rose, great mystery, fill my heart with love, dill, anise, tansy. Holy winds, blow in me. And I think this is a great remembrance that all things are connected. And here, where all senses are drawn into the natural world, it is impossible to forget that we are all one.
I'm giving it a yeah. Oh, your shoe.
I absolutely recommend going to Garden of the Gods if you're visiting Colorado. It's worth being around all the people, because this site, for tens of thousands of years, has been holy, and be transported into the area by going here.
Yeah.
As we leave the area, we drive by the old trading post, which was established in 1900. This is a place where settlers and Native Americans alike would come. This area was also inhabited by the Utes, who, when they adopted horses in the 1800s, settled here. We drive through Hanging Rock, and we say goodbye. Haley and I own a local brokerage here in the area, so if you're looking to buy, sell, or invest, give us a call.